Planning is always about future course of action, but we cannot predict only that will happen. And you can't change the position. That is, the manager can't change it because it should happen. Depend on your planning. If you get more than that, then that plan is really good. If it is less than that, please don't go for it. Whatever they have planned, they need to execute it. Now, in meanwhile, they can't change the new plan. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Abhilash Chandra from the Department of Commerce and Management in Vidyashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. Welcome to the new session of planning and decision making. In this session, I'm going to explain you about the limitations of planning. Now, the last session I told you the importance of planning, and in that importance, I also told you that planning is flexible, but sometimes after the planning is all done and you have decided one of the plan, now planning becomes rigid. Yes, exactly. So planning leads to rigidity because you have invested your time, strategic management is done, market research, market survey, everything is done. You have seen what the competitors are doing and then you have planned for it. Now, after that, when you are executing the plan, in between, if you want to change the plan, you cannot change it because it is rigidity, is more in that planning. Because once you invest everything and then you try to come out of the plan, it is not possible at all. That's why planning is time consuming also. Now, planning may not work in dynamic environment. See, the meaning of dynamic environment means change is constant. We don't know what will happen because there is something called uncertainty. You have something called uncertainty. Uncertainty. Then you also have something called risk involved. Now, whatever you have planned, if it goes in the same way, it is all fine. It is an advantage for you. But always we can't expect whatever happens the way we want it to happen, right? Uncertainty is there. Now, example I'm giving you, this pandemic has taught us all the things, how to live and how to predict the uncertainty things. Next, it reduces creativity. Now, planning reduces creativity means once you plan, what happens is the top level are the only people who goes with planning. But there are other people who are really good than those who are in the top level, but still their ideas are suppressed. That's why planning reduces creativity. Next is planning involves huge cost. I told you it involves a huge cost. The way it is when you plan, it is not just one kind of a thing. You should know the strategy. You need to know the market research. You should do a market survey. You need to actually have more people who are qualified, like MBA, CA, CS, all these people. That means what? Huge expenditure is actually going to be there in that planning. So it is huge cost. Then you have it as a time consuming process. When you need to go with a proper research or survey, it is a time consuming because you should get a raw data. As well as you need to actually get facts, right? So what exactly happens is it will actually take more time. It is not just one day kind of a thing. You are supposed to plan for months together. Some of the plans actually they go with like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. There are something called long plans. Everything you are supposed to plan, that is time consuming. It is planning does not guarantee success. A very bad situation. That is, after taking too much time, money is wasted, time consuming is there, everything we have done, right? But what it is, planning does not guarantee success at all. So that's a limitation. And the last one is lack of accuracy. When I say lack of accuracy, please understand, we cannot predict the exact. Planning is always about future course of action, but we cannot predict only that will happen. So that's why it lacks accuracy. Let's take one by one. The first one, planning leads to rigidity. How exactly rigidity? Please understand this. Once plans are made to decide the future course of action, the manager may not be in a position to change them. Once it is executed, you can't change it. Following predefined plan when circumstances are changed may not bring positive results for organizations. This kind of rigidity in plan may create difficulty. So what happens is, once the plan is executed or the position, say you have the future course of action and you have decided it and you can't change the position, that is the manager can't change it because it should happen. That's why it is rigid. Next one we have is planning may not work in dynamic environment. Now here understand, business environment is dynamic. See, management is okay even in dynamic, but when you plan, no students, I'll tell you what it is. When you plan, usually what happens is, when it is rigid to change a plan, how is it possible when you have uncertainty? Say example, I'll give you an example here. We always say external thing called macro environment. Now micro level, you have planned something. You feel that the sales of your car productions or the car manufacturing or the car sellings will actually have more impact in 2020. Now you have manufactured the cars, but planning, everything is done, proper market survey, market research, everything is done. Now because of this pandemic, the sales have dropped drastically. Take an example of Tata or Maruti or Hyundai or Kia, anything, right? All of them who planned that 2013 was all good, 2020, 2019 was all good, and 2020 will be really good. It will be like a bonanza for them. What really happened? So try to understand uncertainty. The reason now, whatever they have planned, they need to execute it. Now, in meanwhile, they can't change the new plan. So that's why it is all what? It does not work in dynamic environment. If you don't have this ability, whatever plan you do, if some external uncertainty happens, you can't change it. Next is reduces creativity. Please understand, with the planning, the manager of the organization start working rigidly and they become the blind followers of the plan only. So here what happens is, once you make a plan, the manager will only focus on how to achieve those objectives. When he goes with how to achieve those objectives, he will become a blind person. He will not see anything apart from just that objective. The manager do not take any initiative to make changes in the plan according to the changes prevailing in the business environment. They stop giving suggestions and new ideas to bring improvement in working, because the guidelines for working are given in the planning only, because the planning will only give you the guidelines, right? The guidelines. They'll only give you the guidelines. That is what happens. Next one. Planning involves huge cost. Yes, we need to do what? Market research. Then we have market survey. All these things should be done. Now, planning process involves a lot of cost because it is intellectual process, and companies need to hire the professional experts. Now, the professional experts are who? MBA, that is marketing, right? You have HR. Now, you need to take CA and CS. You need to take the PR, public relation officer, PRO. All these people you are supposed to take. Now, along with the salary of these experts, the company has to spend a lot of time and money to collect accurate facts and figures. Now, the facts and figures you will get from market research and market survey. So, it is a costly consuming process. If the benefits of planning, are not more than its cost, then it should not be carried. Say example, you have invested invested say 1 lakh rupees for planning, right? See, I'm giving you a random figure, a small figure, 1 lakh rupees. It can be even 1 crore to 100 crores, right? But you are only getting profit of say 80,000 rupees. Not a profit, you are just getting 80,000 rupees from that particular plan. So what it does, 20,000 is also what it's a waste for you. So don't go with that plan. That is what they see. That's why whatever you spend on your planning, if you get more than that, then that plan is really good. If it is less than that, please don't go for it. Planning consumes, that is, it is a time consuming process. Planning process is a time consuming because it takes a long time to evaluate the alternative and select the best one. Now understand, I'll give you a thing. Firstly, you need to first set objectives. Now you have done this, objectives done. Now you need to go with developing premises. Then you will actually go with alternative. That is, you will actually go with alternative. It is not the right, alternative course of action. Then you need to actually evaluate. Then you will go with selecting. Then you will go with implementing. And then follow up. Now from here to the 7th one, how much it is? It is all time consuming. That's why planning is very much time consuming. So because of this, the action gets delayed. So whatever the objective is, you need to go with all the things, and then what happens if there is a uncertainty, the objective only will change. And whenever there is a need to prompt and immediate decisions, then we have to avoid planning. Sometimes this happens. Unavoidable situation. Now again, you can't actually take all these things, developing premises, alternative course of action, then you evaluate it, you select it, you implement it. It can't happen. So what it is, it's like immediately if you need to take decisions, you can't plan. That is what the limitation is. Planning does not guarantee success. See, after doing everything, right? Top MNC companies, small scale industries, big entrepreneurs, small entrepreneurs, if you ask them, they'll tell, we had done everything, but still we do not get more profit. The reason is what? All plans will not lead to success. So here, sometimes managers have false sense of security that plans have worked successfully in past, so this will be working in future. There is tendency in managers to rely on pre-tested plans. See, once that plan what they did really clicked, but that doesn't mean that the same plan gonna click even now. 2019, the way you plan is totally different from 2020. The same plan which gave you success in 2019 will not give you success in 2020. So please understand this. It is not true that if a plan has worked successfully in past, it will bring success in future also, as there are so many unknown factors which may lead to failure of the plan in future. So you should understand that and then go with it. The last one here is we have lack of accuracy. In planning, we are always thinking in advance, and planning is concerned with future. That is future only, and future, that is future only, and future is always uncertain. In planning, many assumptions are made to decide about future course of action, but these assumptions are not 100% accurate. Whatever you do, whatever it is like future course of action, planning is what? Future course of action. Now you are preparing for future, but whatever you do, it is not 100% accurate. It is not 100% accurate. And if these assumptions do not hold true in present situation or in future condition, then whole planning will fail. See, planning will definitely fail because of this particular thing, that is, it's just an assumption, but not 100% accurate. That's why I tell you, management is a science, but not complete science. It is absolute science. Right? So you need to understand, whatever we do, we can only predict and prepare, but we can't say only that will happen. Right? That is what the limitations of planning is. So we know that the limitations of planning is rigid, planning doesn't have accuracy, planning is costly, all plans will not lead to success, and then planning will not work in dynamic environment. Students, please understand this topic, because this topic is for 10 marks in your main examination. So we have the next topic. The next topic is all about the external limitations of planning. Now, external in the sense, now we spoke about the internal one, that is reduces plan, all those things we spoke about. External is, now natural calamity will happen. Say natural calamity will happen. So how is that whatever we plan internally, now can we do it externally? Definitely no. Whatever we have planned, it will actually go for a flop. Now India and Sri Lanka, they are doing really good, and there is a very good relationship. Now I wanted to export and import the products from Sri Lanka and to Sri Lanka. Now because there is a natural calamity between India and Sri Lanka, that is in the oceans, now can I go for it? Definitely no. The planning is failed. Next, change in competitor policy. Now we have planned something and the competitor have planned the same thing. Now what we thought is we'll go for some other plan. Now what happened? The policies and everything, strategy has changed. Now what happens is whatever we planned, it is also a false. Change in taste and fashion. Now we thought of going for a product which will actually mesmerize the entire public, because that is the happening thing. But to execute that, we took little time, and now the taste and the fashion of the public have changed. Now whatever we do, they will not accept it. That is what happened in Nokia. Please understand this. The Nokia company, they did not change accordingly, but the taste and the fashion of the trend in the market changed. Now Nokia couldn't capture the market. Change in technology, same example I'll tell you, that is the Nokia one here. Change in government and economic policy. Now what happens is, that's the reason people who are doing business, they always reveal, they always see to it that what the government is doing and what are the changes the government is bringing. Only then they'll start their business. So these are the external limitations of planning. If you have any doubts, you can call us. We are always there to help you, students. So students, if you have any doubt regarding this session, please call us. We are always there to help you. Vidyashram is the only college which is doing everything for the students for free. You are blessed, and thank you so much.